Hey guys, it's the 7800 Pro System Gamer here, and I'm super excited because today, or I should say yesterday, I got an Atari VCS. The Atari VCS was a crowdsourced console that Atari released back in, I believe it went out to backers in 2020, became publicly available in late 2021, and now I finally got my hands on it. I've been watching it for a while. I've been kind of waiting. The price was really high to me, honestly. It was right around $300 plus shipping and tax. With the most recent sale, it brought it down to a little over $200. But if you use code WELCOME15, which you get from signing up for email notifications, and as long as you haven't placed an order before, you can get it for about $194. Add in tax and shipping, it jumps back up to $207. But I thought that was pretty reasonable, so I went ahead and pulled the trigger, and I actually ordered this like 2 days before the 2600 Plus got announced. So this is Atari's most recent console, the only one that's on the market right now. 2600 Plus doesn't come till November. And I thought it'd be cool to unbox it on camera and kind of let you guys see what it comes with and what everything looks like right out of the box, and then we'll see how hard it is to set up, because I was told this thing is a nightmare to set up and actually get started with. This controller looks really cool, and it's actually pretty comfortable to use. I really like this thing. The downside being the D-pad is kind of this big circle blob thing. I don't care for that too much, but the rest of it is really good. It reminds me of an Xbox 360 controller. The next controller that you get with the unit is the classic controller, which is clearly modeled after the 2600, CX40, I believe, one-button controller. And this thing is really cool. As you can see, it's nice and shiny. It has good movement to it. It feels a lot different than I thought it would. It feels a little looser than I thought it would, because the original, the ones I had at least, were always really stiff. So the classic controller is a huge plus for me, and I highly recommend getting the version with that if you so choose to get one. And now we're going to unbox the console here. The console itself, I was actually surprised. I seen it in pictures. It's about as big as I expected it to be, but it looks really nice. I was surprised. I really dig the way this thing looks, and it fits nicely. You know, it's nice and small and compact, and it fits nicely just about anywhere you want to try to squeeze it. The wood grain finish looks nice. The USB ports are nicely located. It's got 4 total, 2 in the back, 2 in the front. You got Ethernet, HDMI out, your power button, and your power cord plug in, and that's really about it for the console. It's really streamlined. It resembles the 2600, but it's quite different, actually. So, looking everything over, I'm really pleased with everything you get. You get 2 charging cables for the controllers, HDMI cord, power cord. I mean, everything is really cool, and I was really excited up to this point. But then, you get to the part where you actually plug it in and try to use it. This is where the problems start for not only me, but it seems like everybody. So, I tried to create an account. I couldn't do it. I signed in as guest. I kind of flipped through the menu here, and I still couldn't do anything. I couldn't get it to update. I could update the controllers just fine, and I did check the connection. It was connected to the internet. I would disconnect it, and I would clearly say that I was offline. So yeah, this was quite the headache, and I ended up having to go online. I went to Discord. I emailed Atari themselves, but it was a bit late in the evening. And what I ended up having to do was go to Atari Age and look up a thread where they were talking about having this issue. Again, here I'm trying to do a factory reset to see if that will help. And you can't actually do a factory reset until you have an account. So I went on to Atari Age end of the thread, and I downloaded a new firmware flash. You need a USB stick, software from the thread that they'll point you to, Rufus, I believe it's called. I'll have everything in the description if you have encountered these issues yourself. So You get the USB stick, you flash the new firmware to it, and you stick it in the console, boot the console up, and you'll have to have a keyboard attached so you can choose the correct option, and you want to flash the newest firmware onto it. And so here I'm speeding this up. This actually took quite a while, so I think this is going 4 times, 5 times speed, and then you successfully flash it, and then it'll do a BIOS flash, which seems strange to me. It seems like it would do the BIOS first, but whatever. All this took me about 2 hours because the first time I downloaded an older firmware and it did not help. So I had to go to the front of the thread, or the most recent post, and then I finally found the right firmware. After I downloaded that and got it flashed, everything worked perfectly. But the problem is you should not have to do this in 2023 with your brand new Atari console. And if you do have to do it, it should be right there on the Atari website, because having to go to Discord, Atari Age, Google, Reddit, you shouldn't have to do that. It should all be with Atari. And that's my biggest complaint, especially knowing that this has been an issue since the start, and they haven't done anything that seems to fix it, let alone streamline it, is a major downside. So if you're not comfortable doing this, the VCS is not for you, I'm afraid to say. And I was getting very frustrated up to that point, but I was able to do it, and now I was able to make my account. So you can see here, I'm the 7800 Pro Gamer on the VCS. If you're on there, go ahead, shoot me a friend request so we can play some games. And I was finally able to get into the store, download things. The store is really cool. There's a lot of cool stuff on there. I'm excited to play the Recharge series. They have Missile Command Recharged, Breakout Recharged, Asteroids Recharged. If you're an Atari fan, this console has everything you're going to want. What better to start with than the VCS Vault? The default game that you get when you get the VCS, this is what everybody has right out of the box to play. You can see here, you get a nice little menu screen, and I think this is actually pretty intuitive, pretty neat. You get the arcade cabinets, and they're actually designed after what they used to look like. And you also get a gallery of sort of magazine documentation, advertisements, coupons, just all kinds of stuff that they had regarding each arcade machine. You get the manual for the 2600 games, which is really cool. So lots of cool extras. The design is really cool. And again, if it wasn't for the initial problems that I think will turn many people off, this would have been an awesome experience. It's just so frustrating in the beginning, but you get the 3D box art. What's funny is some of the box arts, like for, I believe, Off the Wall, is clearly some sort of scan that was rendered into 3D, so it has the damaged dent corners that you often get with 2600 boxes. I just thought that was kind of silly and kind of neat. There's lots of stuff on here. If you like classic 2600 stuff, a little bit of Atari arcade stuff, you're gonna have a good time here. And so we'll flip through the menu, kind of show you what's available and what you have to play right out of the box, and then we'll get into some gameplay here. And so I thought I'd give the arcade games a try to start off. I'm a huge Tempest fan, so having the arcade version of Tempest is awesome. And playing with the classic controller and the modern controller and the classic controller both work really nice. I'm really surprised at how the physical product, at how much quality there is put into it. If only it was the same on the software side. But after I got it going here, this version of Tempest, it might not be arcade perfect, but it feels really close and it feels really good to play. So I was really enjoying myself with Tempest here. With asteroids in it, I don't think it's coming through so much in the video. It might, but I'm really impressed with how close they got the vector-based graphics. So it kind of has that glow to it, the sharp lines. They emulated it really well, and it's probably because it's an HD console for a modern era, but it looked really sharp. And I was really impressed with how it played. I mean, and how it looked. Honestly, we're talking about the looks here. Super impressed with how it looked. Really sharp, really bright, had that glow to it. Just fantastic. These are great versions of these games, and they play pretty well. I'm not playing great here, but it was pretty late. I had stayed up a long time trying to get this thing to work, so you know, it's not my best effort, but we'll cover the VCS some more in the future, I promise. I also wanted to show off some of the 2600 games and give them a try, so what better to start with than Adventure? And it plays as you would expect. Again, the controllers are great. This is clearly an emulated version of Adventure, and it's Adventure. With Haunted House here, again, plays great. It's just as I remember it. I have the 2600 cartridge sitting behind me. It's a great version of Haunted House, and I'm more than satisfied with it. If you're a retro Atari guy, I think you'll enjoy this console. And with the I think at the store right now it's 25% off. Plus, if you can get that 15% off on top, I think the price point is pretty good. I'd like for it to be about $150, but at $194 plus tax and shipping, I think you might be satisfied if you're an Atari fan. And again, this is Night Driver. It does have the side cones. For some reason that didn't show up in the recording, but it looks just the way I remember it. It plays great with the classic controller. I wish there was a paddle controller, but hey, what can you do? So overall, the Atari VCS is a mixed bag. The pros are, it's great. The games play as you would expect. You got Atari stuff up the butt. If you love Atari stuff, you have the Recharge series, the 50th, everything like that. You're going to have fun. The cons is it should not be as hard as it is to set up, especially years after the fact. So if you do not want to have to flash the console with a new BIOS and a new firmware, this probably isn't for you. So again, guys, that's the Atari VCS from opening to closing. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff. And I'll see you in the next one, because we got more 7800 games to get through. Alright, take it easy, guys. Later.